All right, so on the H3H3 podcast, while Ethan Klein was shaming ProJared, he either just exposed himself as a closet freak or the biggest prude, all right? And by the way, this video is gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be a little bit R-rated, but we're gonna be talking about sex positivity versus sex shaming. What is up, everybody? This is Chris from The Rewired Soul, where we talk about the problem, but focus on the solution. And if you're new to my channel, what I try to do is take different topics going on in the YouTube community, try to see what lessons we can learn from them. So if you're into that stuff, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. And by the way, I do I believe, such a good job of like censoring myself. I try not to cuss, I try to be very advertiser friendly, and I'm not going to be in this video, so it's probably gonna get demonetized, so I'd appreciate if you help the brother out, go buy some of my books or become a patron or something like that, all right? But we're gonna be talking about this massive problem, and listen, I don't want to keep making videos about this situation and just milking it dry, but like seeing more creators discussing the ProJared situation and watching them defend themselves, just trying not to admit that they might have been wrong is absolutely mind-blowing. But before I get started, I wanna say this. I'm going to be roasting Ethan Klein a little bit in this video, but check it out. This isn't isolated. Like, every video that's coming out about ProJared is the same way, and I'm blown away. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, holy crap, like, what year is it? Like, I'm hearing the most insane things, like, about, like, conservative, just, like, sex. Like, I'm just, like, it reminds me, so I live in Las Vegas. It reminds me of growing up around Mormons, all right? And I'm just like, are these the type of people who only know about, like, one sex position? Like, is this what's going on? And maybe this is because I'm from Las Vegas. I don't know what it is, all right? But yeah, I live in Las Vegas and I have a wide range of friends, okay? I have friends who have been strippers. I have friends who have done porn. I have friends who have been cam girls, all right? I had a friend who was a foot fetish model, and she was telling me a story about how some dude paid her $1,000 to put on high heels and step on his sack, all right? And here's my philosophy. If you're not hurting anybody, well, unless they pay for it, it's none of my damn business. But I also know people who have worked in like the BDSM modeling industry and stuff like that, and like, I just don't get it when all these people are like, well, Jared, I would never do this. I'm like, who are you people? And finally, for those of you who don't know about Las Vegas, we have a location here in Las Vegas called the Green Door. I've never been to it, but the Green Door is a sex club, all right? People go there to have sex with strangers just out there in the open. And again, if they're not hurting anybody, I don't care, and neither should you. And like I said, maybe it's just because, you know, I've been more open-minded to a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't care what anybody does, but like, the thing is with ProJared, it was put out there in public. And like I said in the intro, like, Ethan might be doing some weird stuff too with Hila, and he's just a closet freak and we don't know about it, you know what I mean? But anyways, on the H3 podcast, the first issue I have with this is like, and it bums me out too, and I'm gonna talk about this towards the end of the video, like Ethan knows about cancel culture, but they see this as this whole like black and white thing, right? You're either all good or you're all bad, right? And they're trying to categorize Jared as this all bad person. And it's just crazy, like check this out. When I see people like Ethan saying things like this,
I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm gonna keep it 100. I think the guy's a total sleaze who should not have a fan base. Because while he refutes the worst claims of these two individuals, he admits slyly at the same time that he was soliciting nudes from his fans.
When he talks about soliciting nudes from fans who do we think of? Who do we think of in the YouTube community? We immediately think of that disgusting monster, Austin Jones. And like, that is why I have an issue with these people not like acknowledging how ridiculous it is to put these accusations on Jared. And here's the thing, with what Jared was doing, and Heidi was also involved, which we know now, right? Like, think about it. The only person who ever said that Jared was pressuring them to send pictures was one of the people Jared just exposed as a liar. He showed the text back and forth where he wasn't replying to them and they were blowing him up, all right? Have you heard of anybody else saying Jared was pressuring me to send nudes? No, like they created a safe community where people could just be out there and do whatever sexual things they wanted to, take pics, swap pics, whatever it is, all right? But people like Ethan, and if you look at the other commentary videos coming out, people keep using the words soliciting them. Like, I'm just telling you, like, I would imagine that there were dozens and dozens of people in that group, maybe more. Don't you think at the height of all this, one of them would have came out with some kind of receipts saying Jared was pressuring me into this? No, it was all consensual. And on top of that being consensual, and everybody's talking shit about Jared sending out a dick pic. Like, you guys, it's 2019. We haven't heard one person say that Jared has sent an unsolicited dick pic. And that's more than I can say for 90% of the millennial males out there just sending dick pics to every chick that they meet on OkCupid, all right? People wanted the pictures from Jared and Jared sent them, consenting adults. Here's the next thing that really bothers me. Like, Ethan is taking this high ground in the podcast and he's like, I would never do such a thing. How could he send those pictures? Like, you guys, do you remember when James Charles' phone got hacked and he tweeted out this picture of his ass? Well, when everybody else jumped in on the meme, guess what Ethan Klein did? He tweeted out this picture of his ass, and he's sitting there like, oh my God, I can't believe Jared did this. Ethan, at least people asked Jared to see his junk, all right? But since you were facing backwards, like it's a completely different story, like it bothers me that people aren't able to make these logical connections and see how hypocritical and ridiculous it is. The next thing I wanna talk about that commentary channels and people like Ethan from H3H3 like keep bringing up is this. They keep talking about the power dynamic. And it's something that I think about quite a bit. But like, again, this isn't all black and white. Like, Jared is not Harvey Weinstein. But here's the thing too. Like, we need to look at other creators in the community. Like, did any of you watch the documentary that, or the docuseries that Shane Dawson did with Jeffree Star? All right, Jeffree Star, this multi-millionaire, right? Like, him and Nate are constantly having like threesomes and orgies with people. You don't think there's a little bit of a power dynamic there? Here's another example, all right? What about Dom from the Vlog Squad? That dude bangs every random chick who is willing, all right? And he's part of the Vlog Squad, one of the most like known groups on YouTube, and he's banging every random chick in Southern California. But you don't see people like Ethan or any of the other commentary channels saying, well, there's a power dynamic with Dom and these other women. No, all right? And here's the other thing. Here's what I don't get about Ethan. Ethan is friends with Post Malone, all right? Not only that, but Ethan hangs out with like comedians, a lot of people who are like in the industry, right? Like, you mean to tell me that none of the celebrities that Ethan's hanging out with are banging their fans? Like, come on now, come on. So I think this is why. I think this is why Jared's getting so much crap. It's a psychological theory called expectancy theory. And I discussed this in an old video about why people like Jeffree Star and Trisha Paytas and Tana Mongeau get a free pass. This is a psychological theory of what we expect from certain people. Like, you expect Jeffree Star to be this very sexual person. You expect people like Dom from the Vlog Squad to be this very sexual person. But what's weird too is, because Ethan plays video games, like, it's this weird kind of stigma, like, oh, well, gamers like ProJared shouldn't be sexual people. Like, let me tell you this, some gamers are freaks, all right? With all their cosplay and everything like that, like it's just nuts to hold these people at different standards. Like, some gamers get freaky deaky too, you know what I mean? Like, what is Ethan on when he's talking about this? So the last thing that I wanna talk about is how everybody keeps saying, well, ProJared shouldn't have sent nudes. He should have known better, he shouldn't have sent nudes. And I'm just like, scream! Like, what? Do you guys not remember the fappening? Do you guys not remember what just happened to Bella Thorne? Do you guys not remember what just happened to Whitney Cummings? Right? Where people are trying to threaten them and leak their nudes, or they've been victims of hackers exposing their nudes. And what happens? The entire world rallies around these women saying like, oh, so we're gonna blame the victim? We're gonna blame the victim for their nudes getting leaked, right? Like, why is this happening to Jared? Like, I just don't understand. Like, something I'm constantly asking myself is, why is this way? And this other thing that is pretty much identical, like, people are treating it differently. It just really, really confuses me. Here are my final thoughts on the situation. Like, I don't think Ethan is a bad dude. I like Ethan, but I think him and a bunch of other creators on this platform who are not just outright saying they were wrong and realize how hypocritical and ridiculous they are, I think it's a few things. Confirmation bias, pride, and ego, right? A lot of them don't have the humility to just be like, you know what? I was wrong, I was 1000% wrong. They gotta latch onto something, they gotta figure out a way to save face. And because of confirmation bias, they're trying to find things, and here's why I try to teach everybody about confirmation bias. Because you look and sound like a jackhole, all right? Like I said, Ethan is hanging out with all these celebrities. I'm gonna be like, well, Jared has this power dynamic, and here's the thing, Jared wasn't even banging his fans like these other celebrities are, all right? But the last thing that really bums me out about Ethan is Ethan has been the victim of the internet coming after him and assuming the worst. And I'm gonna link the podcast down below. I think it starts at about an hour and 10 minutes when he starts talking about ProJared. But if you listen to Ethan, Ethan starts doing to Jared what has been done to him, which is assuming the worst. At every single turn, he is assuming the worst in Jared. Remember when Ethan got all that pushback when they released their app after not releasing videos forever? Everybody's like, oh, they're just in it for the money. They're just in it for the money, because that's what cancel culture does. They automatically assume the worst, all right? But people like myself empathized with Ethan, and we gave him the benefit of the doubt. All right, when he came back and he apologized and said, hey, sorry, I've just been really depressed and we've been working on this app for years and now we just released it, it's just bad timing, da da da. Give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure there was many other people who assumed the worst, but you see this all the time with people who have been canceled before and have had the irrational hate mob come after them. They have just absolutely no empathy. And that's one of the reasons why I'm covering this story so much, because I have been through it, all right? And not even at the level of ProJared, but I've had this happen to me and had the internet turn on me, and I wish to God more people would defend others when they see how ridiculous and irrational some of this stuff is, all right? So finally, if the only thing you take away from this video is this, all right? sex positivity. If you're not hurting anybody, do your thing. Behind closed doors, or if you happen to come to Vegas and go to the green door, do it in front of other people, whatever you gotta do. And Jared, if you like to dress up as Sailor Moon when you get freaky, do your thing, man. Like, I just don't get how it's 2019 and people are still shaming other people for sexual acts. Like, I was just telling my friend right before this, like, I wish like some random BDSM channel would just cover this story and just talk about how silly everybody sounds shaming Jared. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got for this video. Don't forget, video probably got demonetized, so check out the link in the pinned comment down below. Check out my website, buy a book, help a brother out, all right? But anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. And a huge, huge thank you to everybody supporting the channel over on Patreon. You're all amazing. And a huge thank you to everybody else who supports the channel in other ways, like buying my merch and books and all that kind of stuff, all right? Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.